Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Non-Classic. This is episode number 1429 and Doubleshot number 1323. I got two Cosmic Marvel trades. Yes, now you're probably thinking, Nick, why aren't you doing your My Hero Academia? Because, well, I got two trades ready to go and get them done right now. Alright? Alright, first up, it's the return of the original Guardians with the Guardians 3000, Volume 1, time after time. You want one of the things that's really strange about this one? This is the only trade for this one. Is there a Volume 2? Kind of, yes, though it's collected as part of the Karvak Saga Secret War Zones. Yep. Now, the Guardian 3000 series, if you don't know what the heck this series is, it was a short-lived series that started back in late 2014 and got abruptly ended in 2015 after only releasing 8 issues. This trade here collects the first 5 issues. Now, the interesting thing comes to this particular series is that it's written by one of the co-creators of the 2008 series, the 2008 version of the team of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Dan Abnett. Yep, first time I think Guardians, cosmic related he's done since the Annihilators. Yeah, he worked in the first and second miniseries featuring those two characters. And this is I think this is by far also one of the last books he ever did for Marvel. We're thinking, really? Oh yeah, it is. Because that's something quite strange, though. The fact the guy hasn't done that much for Marvel. I mean, the last Marvel book he worked on, like, right after this book concluded, let's see. I think this may have been his last official comic he worked on, because I'm not seeing the Wikipedia page to see what he's done anything since then. Yeah, it hasn't updated, but yeah, in my case, I think he's a Marvel. This was one of the last series he ever did for Marvel, because I haven't seen anything lately with him on it. Nope. Now, this book collects the first 5 issues of Guardians 3000, plus material from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Issue 14. Which is basically the backup story that sets up that pretty much starts off this series. Now, as you see with the cover, yes, that is Alex Ross's artwork. The guy is fantastic with his artwork. And his artwork fits perfectly with this series. Oh, yes. Now, despite the fact that Alex Ross in the cover art, he is not the interior artist. Nope, it's Gerardo Salvador. Yes. That is, simply put, the person who does the interior artwork. Thing starts off basically with this woman named Gina Drake, where she's in a prisoner camp for, like, the Brotherhood. These if you don't know what the heck these creatures are, they were a group of aliens who invaded Earth that was explained in the original Guardian series, and the Guardians of the Galaxy are a big combat unit, are basically like a resistance force. Now, the original version was comprised of, they list the names off here, we have Vance Astro. You're probably thinking, that name sounds kind of familiar. You mean Justice of New Warriors? Yes, there is an explanation for that. You see, this is the original Vance Astro. The one you see appear in modern day, that is a younger version of the character, and he first appeared during a team-up story where the original Guardians teamed up with the Defenders back in the 70s. Yep. And you see, this Vance Astro right here, who's known as in the comic as Major Victory. Oh, and here's something interesting, though, about this character. The guy is known for carrying around basically Captain America's shield. Yeah, apparently he found it on the ocean someplace. That's basically how it's explained there. Yondu. Who does not know who Yondu is? People are familiar with the movie version. The comic version is basically a guy with an archer. And there's Vance Astro right there with the Captain America shield. this guy here, the guy with the guy looks like Iceman. His name is Martix. That's his name. The big bulky guy here, that's Charlie 27. He is the muscle of the team. Now, this guy here, that's Yondu. Wait. Yondu? Wait, that's not Yondu. There is an explanation for that, because they later confirmed this in the Yondu miniseries. This Yondu is a descendant of the present-day Yondu, who is based upon Michael Rourke's character, who appeared in the Guardians movies. Excuse me. And plus, there's one other character who was part of the Guardians. Basically, we have Starhawk. Yep. Which they actually have a little reference in here of like, oh, we have Starhawk. Star is a guy and he's a woman. Then he is a she. Yes, and also there is a bit of something going on with the timeline. Something is disrupting it. Something causing minor changes. Like, yeah, there is an explanation for that. You gotta thank Brian Michael Bendis for that, and the fact that Marvel writers just don't care to fix this problem. Heck, by the time Secret Wars happens, I think maybe it was resolved, maybe it was never mentioned it was resolved. So something's going on the timeline, and of course they basically try to investigate it. Plus, also they have to deal with the alien threat, the Badoon, the Brotherhood. The thing with this group is they are the second group of invaders to invade Earth. The original one was the creatures from War of the Worlds, which that basically set up the Killraven story, which, here's the fun little factoid about that particular story, about that version of Killraven, the original version. That guy, believe it or not, his timeline is the same one as this one, though his timeline is set before the Guardians one. No, this is set in the year 3014. Thus basically make it like 3000, like, well, it's not set in the year 3000 per se. It's set like 1,000 years in the future. I mean, the whole point of the Guardians of this, the future Guardians, from what I can tell, it's supposed to be Marvel's taking a lead of superheroes. They do a lot of time traveling, but they're basically mostly resistance fighters. They're not basically doing a peaceful government like it is with the Guardians. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think, yeah, I believe this was his last official work he ever did for Marvel. Yes, I did review Civil War II: Gods of War. That was, I think that was maybe his last book he worked on. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was the last book he officially worked on was the Gods of War. So he did work on a few books. I think he worked on Hercules after this wrapped up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he just worked on Hercules and Civil War. Well, this technically was one of the last books he worked on, but not the last book, but one of the last ones he worked on. But this is just so fun. I love all the cosmic stuff in here. Plus, these covers are fantastic. Yeah, the covers fit. Yes, I love it. They're so freaking good. Yep. This book is fantastic. I'm going to give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic book. Love it. Can't wait to get my hands on the Karvak Saga, which finishes up this run. Yes, I kind of felt this though because of Secret Wars. That's the reason why the series ended. And, like, as far as I can tell, like, no one has ever bothered to, like, revive the classic Guardians. Like, I get the fact we focus on the modern day ones because they're popular, because of the movie. But what about the original Guardians? I mean, they already technically did make their first live-action appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But here's the thing. Since the movie came out, have you seen any appearances of the original Guardians in a comic book? No, there isn't. Because this book was second last when they appeared. The Osprey and Karvak Saga. Alright, next up is the second and last trade for Drax. And this is called The Children's Crusade. Written by CM Punk and Cullen Bunn. Artwork by Sky Hanna. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sky Hanna. He is the main artist in this book. Yep. Oh, Scott. Scott Hepburn and Sky Hanna, they're pretty much the artists for pretty much all these issues. Now, these issues do have the debut of one new character. Killer Thrill. That's her right there. Yes, these issues are her debut appearance. Plus, we have the return of Cammy. She was a character who appeared in Drax's previous series, the miniseries came out in 2004. This actually is the first time they've actually seen each other since that miniseries wrapped up. And Planetary. Yes. Now, from what I read about Planetary, this was a kid's comic that came out back in the 80s. And apparently they came back in here because they brought this character back from that particular comic. He became a bounty hunter. Yes. So, basically in here, while Drax is trying to return children home, apparently finds out there's a bounty on his head. Oh, and he finds out who set the bounty. Like, it is by far one of the most strangest people to... But it was a good reveal. I at least got praise the artist for this. Okay, so... The person who put the bounty on Drax's head is none other than Pip the Troll. And he's actually in the classic Jim Starlin look. Yeah. Yeah, and when Drax tries to strangle him, he's like, "You put a bounty on my head? You must be out of your mind." Yeah. The reason why he did that, because he found apparently one of the kids is a royal. The snake hair girl. Okay, interesting. And, of course, like, the thing with Killer Thrill, she does return after this. Oh, yeah, she does. She pops up in a couple miniseries after this. Also by Columbine. Thirsty. So basically, they haul around on Drax's ship for a bit. They do eventually track her down, beat her up, but they do not kill her per se. They also have this interesting thing where she basically kisses people. Like, oh, like she thanks basically Aura. She's a character original in this comic. Oh, that thanks for giving a friend. Now I'm going to kill you now. And then she gives a kiss to Drax, which... Yeah, we also have a guest appearance by Fing Fang Foom and Drax Tamer. And the reason why Fing Foom is here, because Drax finds a youngling of Fing Fang Foom, but he doesn't want to keep because he basically is trying to find himself. And Fing Fang Foom is not, according to Drax, not fit enough to raise it, so he gives the Aura. Like, okay, perfectly fine. And he mentioned by the end of the book, after he basically defeated Killer, left her alone. He said, "Yeah, I've waited for the Guardians for too long. I need to go back to them." Like, he misses Rocket, which I thought was quite cool. Yep, and they have a great ending to this. Basically, the last panel is simply Drax with Planetary, Pip the Troll, Cammy, Torgo, and Aura. Yep, who does get wounded over the course of these issues. This actually is pretty good. Shocking, this series only lasted 11 issues. Yep. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Final thoughts on this short-lived comic book. Yes, who would have thunk that CM Punk... I think this is by far the first ongoing series, that he ever worked on. Now, as far as I can tell for CM Punk, aside from this, well, I have reviewed basically his Thor story that he did. Honestly, there's not a lot left when it comes to his, review stuff. Yeah, so comics-wise, what's left? Well, let's see. You have the Master Kung Fu one-shot from Marvel Legacy, and a short story for Strange Sports Stories, number 3. And that's it. Seriously, that is it. Because I have pretty much reviewed almost everything related to CM Punk's, let's just say, all the comics he's come out with. Because, aside from this, of course, there's also Thor. And that's it. Basically, just a short story and a one shot. Yeah, that's gonna be quite strange though with CM Punk. There has been a lot released that he's done for comics. Of course, people know about CM Punk. People know about him via his wrestling career. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the guy himself was a wrestler for at least for about 15 years. He hasn't wrestled since 2014 due to a bad experience he had with WWE. Now, from what I heard about him, is that he's a big comic fan. Aside, he was a big wrestler. Yeah, big comic fan. Like one of his catchphrases is "clobbering time." So yeah, for his time at Marvel, all that's left, because I've already covered the Thor annual, which he basically covered the short story for, and of course this whole Drax series. All that's left is Master Kung Fu number 126, and that's it. Yep, that is literally it. There is literally nothing else left for his time at Marvel. Plus, there was that short story from DC. Aside from that, there's not much else that basically you can do. Yeah, there's not a lot left. For basically CM Punk. Yeah, it's like just a short story and a one shot. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. But not much else to say about these two trades. They're good. And I personally cannot wait for the, well, whenever I get a chance to get in some more trades. Well, I do have another trade right here. Okay, so that's it for Cycle Review. Next one is going to be 2 digital trades. Okay, to the next video. Bye.